Hello everyone, Josh first back again bringing you guys some more Shining Beyond. Now, I actually made this video beforehand and uploaded it, but we got some new information, so I decided to take that video down and remake it. Yeah, that's the dedication you get around here, guys. Always trying to give you guys the top tier information. So, we're going to be doing a should you summon or skip video for the new hero Sonia, however you want to say her name. We're going to do a full hero review and breakdown of her skills right now, and then at the end of the video I'll tell you if you should summon or if you should skip. And now this is going to be based heavily on free-to-play and casual spenders. Whales, obviously, they're going to go in no matter what. And we're going to try and break down her skills as best we can and explain some of her usability, some of her pros and cons, and all that other good stuff, and give a final grade overall of what I feel personally the character is worth for the game at this current state. Alright, so let's go to our archives. Alright, let's go all the way down here. Let's go to Sonia. Now, by the way, this character design right off the bat, I just want to say, is really, really cool. We can see here her 2D artwork. There you go. Good stuff, right? Alright, now, she is a rogue class character, which means right off the bat, you're going to notice that she's going to be a bit on the squishier side, as to be expected with rogue type class heroes. Now, her battle power is very good, though, 249,711, which of course is the same for all other SSR rogue class heroes outside of course, Shizu, because she's a Valiant, so she's getting, I believe, about a 30% more increase on stats or so, somewhere around there. Now, Mikado, the best SR in the game, in my opinion, is a little bit of an outlier for rogue class heroes because she actually functions like an archer, a range type unit, and not a rogue. So she has a lot of survivability because she's not actually in that melee category where she's going to be right up there in the front line taking a lot of damage, which is, of course, a big downside to rogue class heroes. Even a unit like Shizu, who can abuse dodge, she still can't always dodge, especially in the higher stage of the story where you start losing like half of your stats, and even in PvP as well, where they nerf your stats somewhat as well. So even with the dodge mechanic that Shizu can abuse, she still can find herself in some really bad situations if you don't get like a lot of taunts off or have a lot of healing on reserve for her. So with that said, with those two very, very solid rogues, let's see where Sonia will actually stand, in those two, within those two characters within this class. Like, is she a top 3? Is she good with those two? Is she the top 2 rogue? Is she the number 1 rogue? Is she going to take Shizu's place? Let's see. Let's go and look at her skill set and go over it. So obviously, the only thing we're missing here is the weapon skill. So we're going to be mostly going over her ultimate in her skill 1, talking about possible job classes that you could give her, and then what type of gear to possibly give her as well based on her skill set. So we're going to get a lot of information out of this video, guys. So we like to always look at the skills at maxed out because we want to be able to see her full potential. So Chainsaw Massacre, great movie. 55 mana cost. It deals damage equal to 550% of hero's attack, which is actually outstanding. That is like Kane levels of damage modifier. Now, what's really crazy though is, unlike Kane, this is not single target. This is radius based because it is a circle. There's 3 types of attacks. There's really 3 types of damage outputs that I consider in this game. You have single target, you have circle, which is radius based, and then you have room, which is like full AoE. So she is a circle. Technically, she is doing area of effect damage, but it's only within her perimeter, her close radius. Basically, anywhere around her, for however much they have the damage boxes for, I don't know. But basically, anything that's around her is getting nuked for 550% of her hero's attack. Now, not only is that a lot of damage comparable to Kane, but I feel she has more DPS offer than even Kane, because we're going to get to her skill 1 Bloodthirst. Combined with this, if you save up your mana, especially when you get to the boss stage, you're going to do some crazy stuff. Now, this is why we had to remake the video. There was some confusion on her on attack skill. It says self single target. So I originally thought with the way it was worded that it was actually a nerf, a self nerf, basically making her take a bunch of damage every time she attacks because of her bleed stacking up to 5 times, doing 18.5% of hero's attack. But what we found out with some newfound information, and why we're remaking this video to give her the proper respect she deserves, is she actually is doing bleeds. This is not a nerf. This is not a self-inflicted attack. This is actually a self-buff. So they actually need to reword this to make it a little bit clearer. But you guys got the information here now, hopefully first, for a lot of you, before you try to even pull in that banner. If you're going to, regardless of this video, hopefully this at least is informative and allows you to kind of understand what she can and can't do. So for anyone who might have been confused like I was originally with the way this is worded, this is actually a self-buff, not a self-inflicted attack. Sorry for that, guys. So she's doing 12.8% bleeds. That's the duration at 18.5% of her attack, and she could stack that up to 5 times. So this is super powerful against bosses. So not only does she have area of effect damage, you know, that radius-based damage with 550%, which is insanity, she's also doing 18.5% times 5, potentially, if you get all 5 stacks, on a single target enemy of bleeds, which is ridiculous. And that's going to be going on for almost 13 seconds at maxed out skill. And that is very strong for a boss. For a boss to take down, wow. And if you thought that wasn't enough, she is doing what Emiko is doing as well, with the increased damage taken by 50%. So this unit is doing crazy DPS like Kane and bringing in that additional damage for not only yourself, but your allies as well, with the increased damage taken by 50% vulnerability debuff that Emiko is bringing to the table. So this is all coming in one ultimate, guys. One. It's ridiculous. This ultimate might be the best DPS ultimate in the game, arguably, I would say. You can maybe make the argument that maybe there's 1 or 2 other units might be better. I don't know. I'd have to look through all the units. But first glance, this seems like perhaps one of the strongest DPS-based ultimates in the game. Like, insanity. And because of her next skill we're going to be talking about, this is going to allow you to pull some crazy numbers from your gear and her skill to just outburst and do some high, potentially high DPS. So let's go to Bloodthirst. This is a very good skill as well. And since this is 45 and that's 55, obviously if you save up your mana, max it out to 100 when you get to the boss stage, you can pop Bloodthirst and then go into Chainsaw Massacre and really do some massacre. Increase critical effectiveness, critical damage by 55% for a whopping almost 25 seconds. And if you thought that wasn't enough, she's also going to be increasing critical hit chance, her crit up, 50% for, again, almost 25 seconds. That is massive. So what this is allowing you to do is you can run less critical and less critical damage between your runes and your gear substats if you would like to force more onto flat attack and skill effect percentage and other maybe useful, more survivability based substats, like maybe even block or skill defense percentage or dodge percentage, which is really good. I recommend on pretty much all of the rogue units. So you can do some crazy stuff with this, because her crit damage is going to be probably over 200% if you go Stalker, Job Class, and then maybe throw Ninja in there or whatever, or vice versa, whatever one you want to go first. Just absolutely ridiculous. You can even go other routes as well if you want to make her a little bit more of a support / DPS instead of full DPS. But I feel with the way her kit is built, she just wants to go in there and do damage. She just wants to hurt people. Okay? She wants to go in and just kill anything and everything. Okay? She's a female devil. She wants to take everyone the hell with her. Absolutely ridiculous. So I'm very hyped and very excited about this unit. Now my concern, obviously, which we're going to talk about with the banners that are currently up now, including Athena's, is the resources. Will you have the resources to invest into the unit? So we're going to cover that here in a moment. But this unit, I mean, from a DPS standpoint, she's going to be doing a ton of damage. She also has Tower Mastery, which is very good for climbing tower. Demon Mastery as well. Obviously, she gets Shadow because she's rogue. The crit percentage, crit damage, dodge, breaker, and HP. Just a very solid unit. Now, in my last video, the one that got removed because of this newfound information that I wanted to clear up with her ultimate, I rated her at 7.5 out of 10 on skills and an 8.5 out of 10 overall. That rating obviously is going to change with the newfound information that she actually does not self-inflict damage to herself. So with that new knowledge and the way that she's built and the way that you could utilize her for burst damage, especially if you put her in a very heavy DPS, heavy aggro team, or if you even have at least one healer in there, and of course your Athena to kind of taunt and then top you up a little bit, that good, balance of survivability on your DPS and use her as your core DPS unit, I think she's going to carry you quite far, if not all the way to like 3210 Master, of course, with proper investment and long-term investment. But, yeah, I mean, I don't really know what else to say. I know I'm praising her very highly, but I don't, between these two skills, obviously I've not seen her weapon skill yet. Whatever her weapon skill is, good or bad, it would just be a bonus at that point, because these two skills alone really is all you really need. Her weapon skill might be even more awesome or just as good, so either way she's going to either get more points for a good weapon skill, or she's going to just lose nothing at all. So man, you crit damage up, you crit up, you go into her Chainsaw Massacre, do a crap load of damage. You're basically going to be a mob killer. She's going to clear out everything around her because that damage multiplier is ridiculous. And with it being so high, even with her stats getting nerfed as further you go in story, it's still going to allow her to output a ton of damage, which is insane. She also has a speed up as well, so her Assault Rush, if we go ahead and max that out as well, she's going to be picking up an additional 12.5% attack speed, with 30% trigger on critical attacks, obviously, and increased dodge chance by 10%, which is, this is pretty much the same thing that Shizu has as well. I don't know if Mikado has that at base as well or not. I'd have to go look, but you get the idea. For a rogue, DPS, she's probably number one. I would feel that she's probably going to output more damage than Shizu, based sheerly on the fact that those two skills alone are built to just kill everything. No questions asked. They're a nuke. She is a rogue nuker. She would be the rogue version of Kayn, but maybe even potentially do more damage than Kayn, just because of the way her damage works with her bleeds on top of that. If you go Stalker class and pick up poisons too, bro, I mean, you're talking some straight up crazy debuff damage, DOTs, your dots, your damage over times, on top of the crazy high crit damage. Her crit rate is going to be very high. She also has that vulnerable that makes enemies take 50% more damage. She's a beast. I'm not going to lie. I'm not going to front you guys. She's crazy, and this is her in her Christmas outfit. I mean, you have to get the Christmas outfit, and then you're good to go, right? That's all. It's easy. Easy. Make her 10-star. Day one. Easy. Of course, I'm just joking. But let's go to the actual banner now. Now that we know about the unit and kind of how you could possibly gear her up, some of the, obviously, the possible job classes to go, her usability, possible teams that you could run with her, let's now talk about the actual banners that are available. You have the Athena banner, and then you have Sonia banner. Now, we have to look at this from a very realistic standpoint. Is she good? Is she a 9 out of 10? Definitely. Is she potentially one of the strongest DPSs in the game? Absolutely. Is she the number one DPS in the game? Debatable. It's arguable. We could probably sit there and debate it probably for a while between her and maybe one or two other units I could think of. But she's definitely top 3. Top 5, no question. Top 3, you might have some options. Top 1 or 2, debatable. But she's definitely coming into this as a very solid unit. She is a rogue, so you do, of course, have to be careful with her limitations as, you know, in terms of survivability, HP, defense, dodge rate, block, all that good stuff that rogues, you know, kind of need to flourish with, or need those stats to flourish in, because they're going to be taking a beating, unlike Mikado, who, of course, is a special case. So you will have to understand that, realistically. You're going to have to give her some good investment on her gear. Obviously, you're going to have to get her job classes up, all that other good stuff that you're going to have to invest into every character in the game. And that brings us to one of the main points of, is it worth trying to go for a unit that's going to be starting out from scratch, from fresh? You have to build it up with the limited resources that we have currently until you get to like legendary and onwards in story, where you can start actually hoarding some stuff. Is it worth it? As a free-to-play, no. If you're a free-to-play, stick to the Athena banner. That's it. If you're a casual spender, you need to sit there and think, do you have enough resources to grab another character, another project, and build it up slowly? Now, even if you're free to play, I want to give you guys one tip. Never use your EXP potions on your core 4 team, because you're going to be leveling them up, because you're going to be doing them, you're going to be using them in dungeons, you're going to be using them in events, you're going to be using them in story. You're going to level them up gradually just from the normal EXP you're getting. Utilize your books. They give you good EXP as well. Utilize that stuff, especially if you're doing the dungeon. That gives you like over 4k plus when you get to the like heroic and legendary stages. You're going to get a lot of EXP for your main 4 characters. So save your EXP potions for your side projects, other units you're trying to build up and maybe eventually put into your core 4. Use your EXP potions on that. So that might help some of you out with your EXP. Obviously, job classes, job selectors, and shards, that's a whole other can of worms. That's a whole other story. You're going to eventually have to, of course, build those up the hard way, slow and steady if you're free to play. If you're a casual spender or a whale, obviously you're going to have that stuff. So for casual spenders, should you go into the new Sonia banner? Again, it's going to depend on your situation. Are you lacking in DPS? You need a DPS unit. Did you not really go hard on a rogue and you're looking for a solid rogue so you can run all 4 classes? Then this might be the unit you might want to go for, because she is going to be a high tier DPS. If you're a whale, do we even need to say what you're going to do? You know what you're going to do. All you whales out there, you already know. Your mouth is watering. You're like, oh yes, she's going to be 7-star day 1, bro. You know what's going to happen. And if you're a free to play, again, no. Stick to Athena. Ignore this banner. Period. That simple. If they, for whatever reason, make a new server, like a server 3, perhaps maybe re-rolling on this banner and going hard on this banner and hoping to pick up a few Athenas along the way might be a solid way to go. But we don't have a server 3 yet to recording this video, so I can't really say that for now. But yeah, that's pretty much it, guys. That's my hero review. I believe she's a 9 out of 10. That is the rating I'm going to give her. Her skill set is strong, super DPS. Her pros, obviously, is she's going to go in and kill everything. Her negatives, she is a rogue. She's not going to be doing range attacks like a Mikado, so she's not a special case. She can't abuse the dodge mechanic as well as a Shizu, and she's not going to have those high base stats as a Shizu as well. She's going to have a normal SSR base stats, so you're going to have to be very careful with her HP. You're going to be very careful with perhaps maybe giving her more dodge, more block, because those things will become vital for her going into harder difficulty stages of story, such as like 20 plus, 30 plus of heroic going into legendary, and obviously, if for whatever reason, if you're close to getting into master, for your whales out there. So you want to be very, very careful of how you build her. Make sure she can survive. Put her in a team that has other units that can keep her alive, like a Thea or a Lucille, an Athena, or any other, or even like a Freya, for example. Any of those types of units, make sure you utilize them to keep her alive, because if you keep her alive, she's going to do the damage. She's going to hard carry for you, just based on her skill set alone. Her modifiers are very, very high for damage, which is very good. So she's a pure DPS based unit that does have survivability issues. That is basically my critique, my review. Anything else you guys want to know, let me know in the comment section below, or join us in the Discord in the description as always. I'll see you guys then. Hope you guys take this video as being very informative and helped a lot of you out in your decision making on if you should go for this unit, if you're a free to play, casual spender, or whale. And hopefully it was a fair review for you guys. 9 out of 10 for me. Let me know what you guys think about her in the comment section below. Is she a top tier unit in your eyes? Let me know that and more. Until next time, as always guys, peace.